Hey there, I'm Critsy. Welcome back to Sorcery. Last time I volunteered in the kitchen of Throg, and I have never felt more fulfilled, so satisfied in my journey. It's really moments like these where I get to work with the common man, volunteer with the kitchen goblins, that I feel like I really am a hero. Reaching down into the muck and helping up the unfortunate. Anyway, so that's what we were doing last time. I'm volunteering. Didn't get threatened and told I have to. No, I'm doing this willingly because my heart goes out to these poor kitchen goblins. Look at them. How are they going to carry them big potato sacks? They're barely the size of a dinner plate. Look at them. Look how big that dinner plate is. You could use that thing as a shield. So he's so small. Anyway, so that's what's going on. We were meeting Filk, the kitchen goblin. I don't know what proper job she has yet, because we just met her. Anyway, she is gigantic for a goblin, but still about a head shorter than me. Her apron is mostly stains, dirt, and a few threadbare ruffles. Now, I don't know if I should help her up or not. I feel like it would be rude if I just walked over and started touching a stranger, but I don't know. Also, she's like a goblin, and I don't know. Is the goblins got bad tempers? Would that be? Is that insensitive to even ask? I don't know. I don't know if in goblin culture it's like impolite to try to help somebody stand up. I'll help. I'll pick up the potatoes. I was sent here to help. You pick up the sack and heft it onto the workshop. The goblin scrambles to her feet. Filk, she announces, and you realize with a sickening feeling that she is vainly trying to tidy the thick mound of greasy hair on her head as she speaks. Why? Am I sickened by her trying to fix her appearance? She just fell down, dude. Greet her? Do you need a hand? I am a chef! You greet her and explain that you are her new assistant. Filk is clearly impressed. Finally, we have somebody who can reach the top shelf. But before you start, here's a few rules. I'm not really meant to be here. Yeah, what rules? I'm here to help. First, never annoy Throg. Second, don't drop anything. Third, don't go into the larder. Throg is very paranoid about that. He is convinced there are spies everywhere trying to steal his recipes. Frankly, I'm surprised he didn't skin you the moment you walked in. She blushes at some unknown thought. What I would look like without my skin on? Weird moment to do that, but okay. Spies? Oh, I don't think they're real. Who would steal old Thunderbowl's recipes? He doesn't even use spices. The Archmage is just as paranoid about spies, I hear, but at least he's got a reason to worry. Filk looks at your sideways? And then reaches out a tentative hand to touch yours. Okay. Was she about to, tell me something dire? You stay still and her cold, greasy goblin flesh settles on your arm. I am so glad you're here. Ooh, she says, suddenly talking in a rush, and we need to get this soup made. Yes, we feed all the guards in the yards, so we're always busy. You chop these vegetables and I'll get it simmering. I need to go grab some roach pig meat. Alright, I can chop some vegetables. Okay, good, Filk says with a nod. It'll be nice to have an expert pair of hands around here. Before you use a chopping board heaped with vegetables, onions, turnips, potatoes, and a few purple orbs you don't recognize. Okay. I mean, they wouldn't be in a kitchen if they weren't edible, so I don't got much to worry about. I mean, it seems like all the ingredients are already out. I'm familiar with making soups in real life, so I'm sure I can figure out a soup puzzle. I am treading on thin ice, though, because we can't rewind. Let me get some coffee in me, fuel my brain. There we go. You go over to the knife rack and pull out a blade. Two goblins across the kitchen. Across the kitchen? Are talking in low voices? So they're whispering to each other across the room in a currently operational kitchen, and I'm able to hear them? Whatever, I'm the hero. Archmage? one remarks. It's a... Should I do a goblin voice?
It's a bit of wood. The guard's propped up against the window.
No, thank you. That's more of like an evil wizard. I'm not going to do that for the Archmage. Absolutely not. The thought crossed my mind and I had to immediately tell myself off for it. Anyway, test the knife blade. Do you test the edge? It's so dull you doubt it would cut butter. Sharpen the knife? Yeah, okay. There's a whetstone on the counter. You drag the knife blade back and forth a few times until it's keen. Alright, back to the counter. You just gotta make sure... Oh, wait, hang on, what was that? About Filk? Filk steals a quick glance and flashes a crooked smile. Oh, she's so glad to have a helper. You examine the vegetables. Several are rotten. What kinds of vegetables we got here again? Potatoes are involved. I know onions are involved. Well, you want to probably dice the onions finely. But potatoes, if it's in a stew, you probably want like big chunks of potatoes, so I don't know. Throw out the rotten vegetables. Now, I don't know, because Throg doesn't want me to drop nothing, right? But, like, we're also feeding humans, right? And humans would get sick if you put rotten vegetables in. Oh, no. I'm going to risk throwing out... You give a brief moment of wondering what on earth you're doing before you pick out the rotten vegetables and toss them away. Another goblin looks over and remarks to another, "Seems the new chef's got something to prove." There's no sign of Filk. "Don't be stupid." The first goblin whispering nearby hisses, "Birdmen can't lay eggs." Oh, I missed some goblin talk. I completely zoned out. Heard the birdmen are breeding. A third goblin hisses to the first two, "I heard they have a nest." "Don't be stupid." The first goblin nearby hisses, "Birdmen can't lay eggs. Think how big they'd be. We'd be using them to make our omelets, wouldn't we?" All three snigger at the thought. Alright, chop the vegetables coarsely. You attack the pile carelessly, you end up with a haphazard piles of chunks and goop. Well, I just meant to do it quickly. Oh, hang on. Filk walks past carrying a tray of overbaked bread. "Stick 'em in the pot. They look excellent." She offers a quick, nervous smile, then is gone to another errand. Okay. Put 'em in the pot. Lovely. Next, you head over to the rack, where a random assortment of pots and pans hang from nasty-looking hooks. Most are dented or cracked or have some holes rusted in the bottoms. The group of goblins are still muttering. "You could pop through the tunnel and find out." The third goblin says, "Oh, except there's no tunnel in the larder, of course. That rumor is totally false." Take the rusty pot, take the dented pot, take the new pot. I don't know. But is there like a... Why would I need this choice? Take a new pot, I guess. After a pile of lids without handles, you spot a gleaming new pot. You reach for it, but a goblin with an eye patch shoves in front of you. "Hands off!" Oh, ask politely? Ask politely. You ask very nicely for the pot, but it's hard to appeal to this goblin's better nature, as he clearly doesn't have one. He laughs in your face. Okay, I'll pick another pot. Dented pot. Does it have a hole? It's dented and old, but it'll hold its water. Alright. Not an issue. Would have been nice to have a nice pot, but... Go to the stove. Yeah, I'm having a good time. Returning to the stove, you fill the pot with your mangled vegetables. Chopping them quickly isn't mangling them, okay? You add the cleanest water you can find, which isn't very clean, and place it over the fire. The first whispering goblin shrugs. The Archmage is just a bit of wood in the window. I think the birdmen are in charge of this place anyway. Stir the pot. You stir carefully, allowing yourself to relax for a moment as you take in the aroma. It's an oddly calming moment. But your reverie is broken by Filk returning and dumping a roach pig meat into the mix. Hot water splashes up. She nods approvingly. "Smells good," she says. "We should add some flavor. The spices are over there." She hurries over once more. Okay. Alright. I'm having a good time. The spices are kept in boxes at the back of the room. All the herbs are from Zaman, and you don't recognize a single one. Use a vial of poison? Will it kill everybody here? That seems a little unethical. I mean, like, we met with the goat people. We met them, and they didn't even want to be here, dude. Grab one at random. Read the labels. Ant powder, melted curios, red-eyed tears. Ant powder. What's that? Label's half torn, but you're fairly sure it's ant powder. It's a fine dust and doesn't smell like anything and tastes like almonds. Yeah, I'll try something else. Where's Filk? Tastes like almonds. Inside the jar is a solid lump of what looks like black wax. It smells like a sewer. From across the room, Filk waves. Not that one, she shouts. That one's for blackening the stove. Okay. Red-eye tears? Red-eye tears? Really? Oh, no, yeah, the red eyes. Red-eye tears. Really. Inside the jar is a fizzling bright red liquid. Drop on your tongue burns a little, but pleasantly. Yeah, okay. Making it a little spicy. Making it spicy. Spicy stew. You take your jar back to Filk. She squints at the label, then smiles. That's such an interesting choice. Is that supposed to be, like, patronizing? Give it to Filk. Yeah, she probably knows it's, local spices. You hand the jar over the jar, and she empties it into the pot carelessly. The soup bubbles and churns. The goblins continue to whisper until Throg walks past and smacks one over the head with a copper-based pot. All fall silent. Yeah, just stir. You stir the broth. Excellent smells rise up from its surface. At Filk's insistence, Throg comes over to sniff the pot. Not bad, he grumbles. What's in it? Finest turpins? Whatever I could find. Throg smacks Filk across the back of the head in reply. Throg takes a spoon and sips carefully. Then he beams with pleasure. Delightful, he roars. Gather round, you lumps. He gives you a clap on the shoulder that's a little less painful. Oh, I've won their approval. Then blows of anger. This is a chef. He's going places, you hear? A wave. Someone takes this one to the mess hall, Throg shrieks. And you get access to the good ingredients. He winks. Go check the larder. It's full of real meat. Trying not to think about what he means by real meat, you head towards the larder. What, did he find out I'm a spy? You open the door and slip into the larder. It's stocked full of food that looks actually edible, unlike most of what's piled up in the kitchen, but there doesn't seem to be much more to it. Except, you were told somewhere in here was a secret passage to the heart of the fortress. The door opens behind you, and Filk slips in, somewhat breathlessly. I thought I could help. This affair has gone on long enough. Unlikely. Let me try, she replies, stepping in a little closer. I heard there was a tunnel in here. She stops and stares at you. A tunnel? She demands. Into the fortress? Is it true? I've never heard of a tunnel. But if it was true, why aren't people coming through? Why would they leave Mampang? Because it's foul in there. Because it's foul in there. They're all prisoners of the Archmage. Interesting. This affair has gone on long enough. No, that's fine. I'll let her hang out. I'm not sure though. What if she's a spy? What if she's double crossing me here? Where's Flanker been? Huh? Why can I only meet Flanker if I sleep in the Goatman village? Do I have to go back and sleep there in order to ever meet him? Or what? You turn, ignoring the gobliness once more, but she seems content. She comes to stand beside you. So, she says, what shall we do next? Tap the walls, inspect the floor, take some rations. Look on the shelves. Do not eat from Throg's larder. Inspect the floor. Some flour dust has been spilled here. So where do you think it is? Filk asks. The tunnel? The tunnel. The tunnel. Jesus. The tunnel? Look at the flower pattern. Yes, analyze it with my witcher senses. The spilled flour has indeed picked up a strange pattern on the floor, as if someone had tried to scuff away footprints near one particular floorboard. What is it? Have you seen something? Look at the spot. Inspecting carefully, you noticed a thin seam running across the floorboards. A less clever observer would never have noticed it. You pick up a nearby fork and pry at the seam. The section of the floor opens up on disguised hinges. A trapdoor! Filk gasps. Where does that lead? She shakes her head. I have no idea. Inside the city? Look down, I guess. You peer down into the darkness below the kitchen. A chill breeze is rushing through the tunnel. It must go on for some distance. It really is! A tunnel under the wall! Do you want to come? You can be my alibi. Inside? They're all mad inside the walls. I won't even be able to sleep again knowing what's there. Can I, like, ask her to, like, close the door after me? Alright, well, bye. Filk is tense as you peer down into the hole. You could not turn back or descend below. You could turn back or descend below. I don't know, I'm a little tempted to see what goes on if I just hang out with like, the kitchen guys. So they're all mad within the walls. Curious. You climb downwards into a tunnel, squinting in the dim light. It's narrow, but there doesn't seem to be anyone in it. Are you really going? Filk whispers in from above. I have to. Will you come back this way? We've only just met. Prepare yourself, Mampang. Go away, Filk. You are just a goblin. Prepare yourself. Mampang is changing. But I can't come with you. Look at the tunnel. I won't fit. Isn't there another way? I'll come back for you. I need to go now. Goodbye, she whispers in reply. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. With that, she closes the trapdoor over your head. You hear the scrape of a flour bag being sifted on top of it, and the distant well of tears. There is no turning back now. I don't think she'll betray me. Most curious. I don't know, though. Throg probably knows about the trapdoor, right? Oh, I never even got to taste it. He expects me to be in the mess hall, actually. Right? I wish I could go back and read it. Because I can't remember if he was saying somebody else to get to the mess hall, or... We'll see. You slither and slide your way down into the darkness of the tunnel. It's unclear who built this. There are no supports or indications of construction. There seem to be tooth marks in the walls. It's probably some kind of monster den. That's okay, I've killed all kinds of monsters. You splash through the shallow water. The rock walls drip with dank moss. The smell is stale and fetid. There is no way to tell how much more of this there is to go. You splash onwards. The tunnel turns a corner here, rising upwards towards a chink of light. You climb upwards, using the rough edge of the tunnel as footholds to ascend. There is a fresh scent from somewhere overhead. Keep climbing. After some clambering, you come within sight of a grate in the ceiling. Light filters through, and standing right on top of it is a pair of feet. You cast a spell? You even gonna ask me? Dude. God? I can't cast Tell. Stop. No. Dumb. Fuck it. I'm gonna cast God. I love that spell. You craft the spell and your jewel of gold begins to shine and gleam. But with the guards overhead unable to see your jewel, what results is a short-lived feeling of great self-worth. Aren't you doing well? But as the spell fades, the realization you are still stuck in the sewer is made only more depressing. Oh no, did I mess up my spell? Is that the only chance I got? Oh, phew. Can I cast it again? See, what I'm tempted to do is like get their attention, then do it. Whatever, listen. You wait a few seconds and are rewarded as the guards above begin to chatter. I'm bored, the gruff's voice declares. Silence! Guards don't talk! But what are we guarding? I don't know, but the spot's always been guarded, so we're guarding it. There's a pause. Even if nothing ever happens here. Like, press on, like, towards the grate, or... You know, I think I'm gonna try to god these guys. Go up at the grate. Grate is fixed into the stone. It's not hinged or designed to be open, but presumably to let this tunnel vent steam. Throw something. You grab a pebble and toss it up against the grate. What was that? Sorry, wait. The guards stop talking immediately, and you see feet moving this way and that. What was that? One hisses. Sounds like it came from... Second replies, trailing off, and the feet step towards, clear of the grate. Wait and watch. You wait and watch what will happen. A moment later, an eye appears at the edge of the grate. It blinks twice, trying to focus. By grid! The eye's owner seems to declare a moment. There's a man down there! Greetings! Greetings, replies the guard. Greetings, replies the guard uncertainly. What are you doing down there? I am the Analander. Immediately. I am the Analander, standing in like a sewer grate. I'm lost. You certainly are. That's a sewer. Could you help me out? Oh, these grates don't open. Never have. Just keep going along, the other guard replies. You'll find your way out somewhere. Good luck. Wait. God. Yes! Reaching up to the stars, you create the magic, and your jewel of gold begins to shine and gleam. With the guards overhead unable to see your... What are you talking about, dude? You never described them leaving? Dude, what the... Short flight of slick steps leads up to a trapdoor in the ceiling. Look up to the trapdoor. I hope it opens up into that room I was just in. Trapdoor is set neatly into the rocking ceiling, and it's closed tight. It looks as though it hasn't been opened in a very long time. Where would it go? Would it go into that room? No, it would not. Try the trapdoor. You scramble quickly upwards, keen to get out of the tunnel as quickly as possible, but the trapdoor, when you reach it, is so firmly locked it does not even shiver when you shove it. Guess the spell? You can probably dop it. Yeah, dop it. Z? Zob. A rock demon. Right here. How? Zap? Nope, zob, zap. Pep. Pop. Dop's probably the best bet here. Yep, open the door. I'm getting the idea this is... Oh, the trapdoor doesn't even shake. Perhaps it's protected by some magical defense. Or else it's not a door at all. Bang on the door. Bang on the trapdoor. Doesn't budge, not even slightly. Most suspiciously, it barely even booms. Okay. Pull up the wood. You pull up the wood of the trapdoor, and after some work with the chopping knife, a strip falls away, revealing smooth rock beneath. Seems this once was a trapdoor, but as it's been filled in, perhaps with a petrification spell cast onto the woods. It's okay, whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm talking about. Cannot use the tunnel, it seems. You hear something growling. It appears your banging has drawn attention. Listen. You stop to listen. The sound is all too familiar. That's the yawning growl of a rat bear. The sound is getting closer. No, I can handle that. I can handle a rat bear. Sure. I can't god anymore. Hot. Fix. I would take my glue. Kin. Oh, my mirror. Yeah, use my mirror. Cast the enchantment, holding up the mirror, and it starts to glow and flash. From the mirror leaps a rat bear of your own. The two creatures plow into one another, tussling and fighting. In the confusion of the violent churning water, you cannot tell which rat bear is which. Eventually one falls to the ground and the other turns towards you. Wait a second. Oh, no, it's a hostile rat bear. I should have attacked it. Oh, it's injured anyway. It's the real creature! Alright. Ho-ho! One blow with my legendary blade. The rat bear advances at speed, splashing through the filthy water on all fours with its vicious tails poised to strike. But you will not be intimidated by a rodent, however big. You plant your feet and ready a mighty sword swing. Then your sword finds its way down into the creature. The heavy beast screams, and the echo of the noise shakes the stones and disappears down the tunnel. But the rat bear is dead. You stop to recover your breath. But though you are alive, you are still stuck down in the dark. Man. Dud. I could dop the fucking sewer grate, sure. Alright. Looking up to the guards yelp. How did you do that? The guards, these gates don't open. They haven't opened in years. Sorcery, moans the other. Could be. We'd better tell the captain. You hear their feet pounding away. More light filters down from above and the guards are gone. Alright. Climb up. I'm gonna jump up there. You jump up to the grate overhead, but cannot reach it. Can I fly? See, what I'm thinking is maybe I can, god in a minute. Let me hover. Okay. You turn the starlight into alignment around you, and the medallion begins to glow. Float through the grate. Float up through the floating grate, whatever, man. See, another option I could have gone for is waiting. Settle into the dirt of Mampang and kick the grate shut behind you. You are in a narrow alleyway between two larger buildings. At the far end you can glimpse some kind of plaza. Another night begins. You should try to find a place to sleep. Well, I was thinking I could, god the guards, but there's barely enough space to walk between these two buildings, which list inwards on both sides. Look at the buildings. Yeah, I'll take in the scenery. The buildings on both sides are topped by large glass domes. The one on the right larger than the one on the left. You sidle onwards down the alleyway. They immediately called me a witch for opening a sewer grate, dude. I could have just told them, I found a lever down here. The alley widens a little here, but it approaches the square at the end. You are inside a city. Time to explore! Looking around, you are surprised to find that this part of Mampang is more like a city than you expected. There are merchants, laborers, and swaggering guards. Washing hangs from the hooks on the stacked houses. Of course, there are far more wicked glares and knives tucked into the belts. Far more wicked glares and knives tucked into the belts than even in Carré. Suddenly you feel hooked fingers catch your arms. Turn around. Turn around and catch a glimpse of a hoary old beggar pulling at you, but then something happens and you lose sight of him. A moment later, the tall buildings of Mampang that you have traveled so far to reach have disappeared. Oh, it's Lorag, right? You stand in a humid climate. The plants lean down on all sides. A watery sunlight leaks through some kind of glass ceiling choked with weeds. Libra! But there is no sign of the goddess. The beggar is here, however, no longer holding your arm. He stands taller, seems better fed. That's better, he declares. Now we can talk more freely. Is he another sorcerer? Who are you? My name is Throben. The beggar bows politely. You notice he has a circlet of finger bones on his head. Some have called me necromancer, but they only mean that death has never stopped my work. Oh, I do know him. Greetings. Yeah, he's the guy who casted Zed. Where are we? This is a favorite little spot of mine, a forgotten corner of Kare, the lost gardens of Briar. Even though the gardeners who work here can't remember the way in, it's all on the maps, but no one can find the entrance. My own little fortress. He reaches rather tenderly for a nearby plant and pulls off a graying leaf. Throben smiles. Come, let's walk a little, shall we? He begins to saunter between the trees, and you follow. This place is hidden from the Archmage. You observe. Quite so, Throben replies. The Archmage would chew a death sponge mushroom and then eat my brains if he had the chance. But for us all, best for us all if that doesn't happen. Death sponge mushroom and eat your brains. Okay. I must return to Mampang. I have a mission of great importance, I know. But I must tell you, if you attempt your mission, you will die. I must take that risk. Perhaps you could try to understand it first, he replies with a slight sigh. In Mampang, death can be quite final. The reach of the gods is limited there. There is not always a way out, and you will die. Throben points at a nearby flower. Do you see this one? Purple thornweed. It only grows in this place, the slopes above my home village. What is that? I grew up in the same village as the Archmage, you know. A small place called Kariyama. Maybe you've heard of it. He sweeps away, his face hidden from view. This way now. He steps between plants and disappears. I've always wondered about this place. You push your way between the plants and find the beggar waiting, only now he is no beggar but a tall and handsome man wearing a long cloak embroidered with runes of power. There you are, he booms. I was told to expect you. Have you been waiting long? You ask with surprise. About a month, he replies. Please excuse any confusion. I use these gardens for conversations quite extensively, but I have to space them out. One cannot have things overlapping. Now then, I believe will be talking about Mampang and your impending death. Is it Lorag? Will you help me? I won't save your life, if that's what you mean. I may make your death a little more valuable, however. He points up. The dome is gone, and it's now nighttime. Stars are overhead. I like these gardens for one reason above all. Can you see what that is? What it is? The constellations. Exactly. He sighs with evident pleasure. Look up there, he declares, pointing. This is one of only 2 places in Kare where the stars of the Zed spell can be seen. The other is by the North Gate, but that spot's rather too busy. What do you know of that spell? What is this to do with death? What do you know of that spell? The mention of Zed makes you stop short. The secret magic, the most powerful knowledge unknown to all. What do you know of that spell? Zed. he intones, is the great discovery of the necromancers, a spell powered by and fascinated by death. Some thought it prevented death, but it does not. Quite the opposite. The stars of Zed cause a death of the most significant, final kind. What kind of death is that? The true death, the absence. But the secret is too powerful to share openly. Please. He gestures down another path, leading between the trees as wide as bears that have fallen together from an arch. After you. You slip under the arch and arrive in a field of bright yellow and purple flowers, terrifically overgrown. Brambles choke the edge of the path. The man does not follow. Okay. The mysterious wizard stuff, the beggar has abandoned you. It seem you must find the path to Mampang by yourself. Go onwards. You just keep walking around the garden. You push onward between the towering flowers into an area of cracked blue pavings and fronded shrubs and glass pots. To your relief, the beggar is here once more. He looks older than ever. Now you understand, he hisses. Now you see why you have to die. I do not understand you. I'll tell you all you need to know, he says. The Zed spell is difficult to cast, you see, because you can't cast it at once. You have to cast it 2 separate times. 2 times, but in one casting. Got it? Like left and right hands, clasped together. He demonstrates, linking his thumbs and flapping his fingers like a butterfly. Okay, I get it. You begin now and finish later, and I'm guessing maybe it brings you back to the point where you cast it. You begin now and finish later? Or I should just let him... No, he says, wincing slightly as he speaks. I mean, when both castings are cast, they are the same castings. 2 castings at different times cannot be at different times, so the time between disappears. He squashes his butterfly fingers into a single 2-handed fist. So this is a spell for traveling in time. That is like saying a cart is a machine for pushing the world backwards. The beggar spits a tooth and picks it up to admire. Be valuable. That, one of these days. Sure, take the tooth. Uncouth villain, he curses, batting your hand away. He wants the tooth. That's his magic tooth. Now, we'd better be getting on. We don't want you coming back here when you finally die. Simply nod. Whatever the beggar is talking about, it's impossible to follow. Thropin closes his dirt-smudged eyes and concentrate, and slowly the walls of Mampang return. Yeah, I didn't really get it. There you are again, smiles the beggar, who is now back to where he began. Not a word. There's spies everywhere. One last thing to do. Draw your sword. All right. I trust this beggar. You obediently draw your blade. Throblin beams with glee, and before you can stop him, he runs himself deep into your blade. For the ghost of the Backlands, I curse you with this, he whispers, and there is fury in his eyes. In the last moments, you see him hurl up his arms, creating some kind of incantation. A terrible force builds around his body, but then he seems to only half explode. You are caught at the moment of detonation. And the explosion dies away, its force curiously unspent, as though waiting, but you feel stronger for it. Interesting. You look around, still disoriented. There is no sign of the beggar. The narrow alley opens. The narrow alley mouth opens onto the square. It is now the dead of night. If I sleep here, I'm gonna get caught by the guards. Absolutely. Well, I kind of want to get caught by the guards, use my god spell. You emerge from the alley into the edge of the main square. West side, east side. I need like a tavern or something. I'm gonna go here. See about that. West side of the square. During the past day, you ate 1 provision and lost a little gold. Entered the citadel of Mampang and were cursed with the Zed spell. The Archmage has now heard rumors of you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. In the moonlight, this corner of the square is quiet. A wider road leads west into a rundown area of the city. It must be morning by now. You've been awake all night and are weaker for it. You know what? Sounds rad going into the... Oh, there's another water tower area. Interesting. Anyway, it sounds like the right place to start, visiting the rundown part of the city, Hell yeah. The road. The beggar. Hang on, what? The beggar? I can go visit the beggar? No thanks. He's got stuff to do, dude. I'll just try to avoid guards, What has the Sorcerer King heard? He has heard that a sorcerer emerged from the sewers. Now, how much stock do you think he's gonna put in that? He could have some way to detect magic or something. You walk west out of the square, following a wide road. It passes by a large gate. The air stirs a little, still cold, but fresh. Before you is a stone facade that stretches the length of the street. 2 men in heavy robes sit on the steps. Greet the men. You greet the 2 men, and one of them grins. Haven't seen you before, but you are welcome. Welcome indeed. We have no food to give you we have no food to give if you wish for that. Effe, or God forbids it. But there is plenty to be earned, in a sense. Have I heard of Effe? Or whatever? This is a monastery. The monk nods. It is. We are dedicated to Effe, the fortitious. He gestures up the stairs. Feel free to enter, but you will have to excuse us. My companion and I are a little busy betting on the patterns of the crowds. Yeah, sure, I can gamble. I'm gonna gamble my way back into riches, baby. Right, is that... Yeah, I remember. That's what some people in Kare used to say, buy Effe, right? Yeah, and I remember there was like a gambling monk. Okay. You step into the yard of the monastery. It's much quieter here, and a sense of calm peace exudes from the building, as though protected from the evils of the citadel around. A short flight of steps leads further inside to a wide, busy hall. Nearby, a monk watches you with gentle interest. Do you play swindlestones? You approach the monk and bow your head. Welcome to our place of contemplation, she says. You have the eyes of a lost soul. Are you a monk here? I am. I have been in the order for many years now. Are you happy? Happiness comes and goes, but I am never content, and that is as a follower of Effe should be. Yeah, no, Effe. I've been... Oh, yeah, the gambling house before, right? I think I've heard this name before. I could be completely mistaken, though. Are there other monasteries? No, the gold we win from all our games is what keeps us afloat. Clever. It is rather immoral. There are many monasteries outside Mampang. You believe that? Maybe. Depends on what shape the rest of the world is in, I suppose. I mean, I'm not one who thinks the world is thriving outside, but there must be some pockets of goodness in the wilderness. Even the barbarians outside are human, underneath their fur. The monk smiles and pulls out a crumpled sheet of paper. Well met. the monk says. But now I must return to contemplating these creases. May your next nudge come from F.A. You nod your thanks and turn away. The text looks a little weird. Cries and cheers come from inside the monastery building. I'm gonna be a folk hero to the people in the ruined part of town. You climb the steps into the monastery building. This place seems rather busy for a monastery. Monks and citizens crowd around long tables, and a commotion is coming from a crowd to one side. Wide doors lead deeper into the monastery itself. Small, iron-lined windows dot the walls, allowing in a little light. Cast a spell? No, thank you. I don't need to do sorcery in public anymore. Man, I'm regretting the choice I made before. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this next time. I'll catch you later. I wish I could get the God spell to work there. Anyway, bye-bye.